Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Down the Track podcast. I'm Yusuf Ismail. I am your guest co-host because we're missing Abrar today, and I have me as always, my co-host Mustafa Ismail. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, excited for IPL to be back.
Yeah, seriously, it's like surprising after the pandemic they finally pulled it off. I think there were some delays. I think there's some issues for people got some people got COVID. Could the bubble be held and maintained? But we finally got our kickoff match, and it was a great one. What's your thoughts on just like the build up towards the toss and just like the last few days, the kind of the hype growing on social media? They're doing interviews. It started feeling real, and then today it transferred into reality. So, what did you think about the build up?
Yeah, I think everyone was waiting for this day. It's been like months and months since we've seen the Indian players play, and the IPL has been 1.5 years since we've seen IPL. Everyone was waiting for this. There was no
Yeah.
crowds, which is a huge factor, but I think the broadcasting team did a good job by inculcating the crowd noise, and the commentators were also doing a good job. And I think the viewers it was a good viewing experience for the people at home. So I think that was pretty good. It was a positive, and the build up, of course, like they didn't have the fans inside, but then you had the Zoom calls and everything like that. There's a lot of banter going on. So I mean, considering the circumstances, I think it's a good start to the tournament, and we're really happy that the first match is completed with no issues, and now the tournament can just improve from here.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I think a lot of journalists online on Twitter were also praising the audio and how they tried to incorporate the crowd. It wasn't overdone, which is sometimes I think in football it happens that they overdo it with the crowd reactions and stuff. So, and they usually have in previous years the Vivo IPL box for the VIPs or the special guests, but this time it was through Zoom for the Dream 11 VIPs, or I'm not sure exactly what they're
Yeah,
called,
that's what
but
it
so
was.
like
Yeah.
they tried, and it was like a great start. I think you have to give credit to like the leagues in England a bit, and even the CPL for pushing through and getting it going, get the ball rolling. The IPL is the biggest show on turf, as some people like to say, and it's the premier T20 domestic league, and it's good to have cricket. Good to start feeling a bit of normalcy. So, as far as what was your thought on the toss, Dhoni's decision to chase? Was it the right one? How was the pitch, and what did you think of the first innings?
Dhoni's a genius. He knew exactly when the toss that he's going to bowl first. He knew that the dew will come into play, and that's what he did. And like he kept they were getting hit in the power play when Rohit and De Kock were going all guns blazing, but he kept his calm. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's been a year since he's played cricket, but his captaincy hasn't changed. And actually, that was the most surprising part for me. The likes of Rayudu, Dhoni, even Watson to a certain extent. They haven't played for a year, and even the other Indian players haven't played for like 4 or 5 months. They're used to playing every single day of their lives. So I think that rustiness, it's there a bit, but I think it wasn't, it didn't overshadow anything. It was still high quality cricket. And Dhoni is just a genius. He makes the likes of Sam Curran look like a Wasim Akram. Uh,
Yeah, he bowled and batted very well, so like that was a good team selection.
Yeah, excellent. I put him. The game was getting a bit tight there, and Dhoni could have come in himself, but he knew he's probably be rusty. And Sam Curran's been playing cricket, and also I think because there's a left arm spinner and a leg spinner, so the left-handed batsman he can play with the spin. So I think that's why Dhoni took that call, and it paid off for Chennai. And Dad's Army did it again. I didn't expect them to win this game. On paper, Mumbai, a very very strong team, but their weakness, which was there from before the tournament, was very apparent today. Lack of quality spinners. I think Krunal, Rahul Chahar, I think he's a bit inexperienced. He will get wickets. He was unlucky. There's some drop catches and like some balls landed safely when they were in the air. So he was a bit unlucky. But Krunal Pandya, I think he just didn't. Uh, I don't think he has those variations for a T20 game. So, and they have no backup. I don't think at this Giant Yadav they can try for the next game, but I think that's Mumbai's weakness, lack of spinners. And if you look at the batting as well, they started off well, and then Saurav Tiwari had a good partnership there with Yadav in the middle. But then after that they just tapered off a bit. I think the turning point for the match was that catch. Hardik Pandya came in, hit two sixes, and then he was going for a third six, and that catch by Faf at the boundary. Wow, I think that turned around the whole game.
Yeah, I think the spinners did the trick in the first innings, and like you said, Bombay got off to a really fast start, and then the spinners came and Piyush Chawla, like credit to him, like he looked like he just came out of retirement,
Yeah,
did not seem
he's another guy I
to.
forgot to mention. He was probably the best bowler in terms of economy rate and the way he slowed down the pace.
Is he a new signing for Chennai this year,
No, no,
or
he was there
he
last year as
played
well.
before? So like he it looked like he also came out of retirement. He didn't seem to be the fittest, but he bowled a good line in length. I think his he wasn't giving too much flight. I think a couple of balls to Pandya he did, and then he got him, and they kept picking up wickets at regular intervals. Chennai in the Bombay innings, and I think no one actually got settled in. Like Pollard hit 12 when he got out, so and GD got hit in the beginning, then he came back. So what would you think is the turning point in the innings for like in the Bombay batting innings? Like, what do you think uh, helped Chennai to restrict them to under 160?
It was that catch, firstly, Faf's catch at the boundary. I think because Hardik was going all guns blazing, and he could have taken the score to 200. So I think that was the turning point. But also, Chawla's introduction, he got Rohit Sharma out in the power play itself, I think, or just after. But they got off to a really good start, and then Chawla got Rohit Sharma out, and then he slowed down the pace of the game, and then even Quinton got out after that. So that pressure he applied, I think that was brilliant, and it was a big move to play him instead of Imran Tahir. They did that because of the balance. You can only play four foreigners, but I think that was a big move from Dhoni, and it paid off. And Chawla was brilliant. I think his introduction into the game was game changing as well.
Which is surprising because yeah, Imran Tahir was the purple cap if I'm not mistaken last season, and while he has aged, he's still playing and he's like a very big weapon for Dhoni. So that was a master stroke. I was going to ask this at the end after discussing the Chennai innings, but do you feel that Dhoni, post international retirement, just has less pressure on him? He can focus entirely on the IPL, and we could see a Dhoni maybe from 5 years ago who was just on his game because he doesn't feel like he's missed a step. He's dyed his hair. He looks younger. So like I don't know. Like, do you think that I'm not saying Dhoni ever left, but do you think he's maybe rejuvenated? He still has what it takes to lead Chennai to another championship. I was going to ask this later, but I'll ask this now.
Yeah, like Dhoni, the captain, I never doubted him. Even like at any time, even when he had so much pressure on him, in terms of captaincy calls, he always gets it like right. He's human; he will make mistakes, but his captaincy overall has always been brilliant. But he looks fresher right now. He looks like you saw him laughing. He made a few jokes at the toss as well. Even in the post match, he said, "Oh, this is weird," like because Simon Dewell stopped him from coming really close in the post match. So you can see like he looks more relaxed. But his batting might be affected, I think, because it's been a year since he's played. His keeping, it looked decent. It didn't look like he was out of touch or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how he can last throughout the tournament. But captaincy-wise, is spot on. I think it'll continue, and I think he's the best captain out there right now.
Yeah, you can't doubt him. I think he'd be if he does go into coaching, he'd probably be one of the top coaches. Like maybe if you compare it to football, like he could become like a Mourinho, well, not Mourinho now, but maybe like Guardiola or Fergie. Like he could be like someone who's very like he could be known more for his coaching than cricket than a player. Maybe potentially like in 20 25 years because he has that
But that
cricketing
will
brain.
depend. That will depend on like how he handles the youngsters, his communication. Like I mean, as a captain, you require communication as well. But like he just like sometimes he just signals to the bowler or the fielder and everything. But yeah, of course, as a coach as well, he'll probably do a great job. But I think as of now, his captaincy, that's what won them the game. If you look at the on paper, there was no match. Bombay's team was much better on paper. A very strong team led by a good captain as well, Rohit Sharma. They had good middle order batting there, like the likes of Pollard and Hardik, and the bowling bowled brilliantly today. I feel he started off really well. Bumrah was off. I think that's where. Bombay got a bit unlucky, but I just feel it was Dhoni's captaincy in the first innings that got them an achievable target to chase, and then
Yep.
the likes of Rayudu and Faf did the job.
Yeah, following up on that point, I guess Chennai had a not so good start, lost two early wickets, but then the experienced heads came to the middle. Raidu maybe hasn't proven himself on the international stage, but on the domestic circuit, he's been very consistent, very good. He proved that like he still has a bit of it, and Faf du Plessis too. Like you haven't heard of Faf du Plessis having a great impact on the national level for a while now, but the two old senior guards came in and stabilized the innings.
Yeah, I think Raidu didn't get the chance to show it on the international stage, and every time he scores now, they're gonna go back to that 3D glasses tweet and the like Vijay Shankar playing instead of him in the World Cup. So
Yeah.
and I was actually very surprised with his innings. He looks very focused, very determined. Uh, the fact that he didn't play for 1 year, I felt he will be rusty. But he batted brilliantly. He came under pressure, like you said. There's 2 wickets gone, and they're both calm heads. But he was the aggressor in this partnership. Faf was anchoring, but the way he played the spinners was brilliant. He attacked them really well, so a square of the wicket. I think that was the key to his game, and his strike rate was also very impressive. So overall, it was an excellent innings from Raidu, and he looks focused and determined to keep performing.
Yeah, I was just trying to get you with that one just to see what your reaction would be for Raidu. But yeah, you're right. Chennai did the job and Bombay didn't, and it's
Yeah,
as simple
and
as that.
I think Faf's
But
innings, Faf's innings is an indicator of how this tournament might pan out. Anchoring will be very crucial. It won't be like those Indian pitches where you can come and smack from ball one. This was the first game of the tournament, and you couldn't. It wasn't a 200 pitch. It was like a 170, 180 pitch, but it's going to slow down. And the likes of Faf, like Williamson, Steve Smith, these guys rotating the strike, it'll be very important. And then you can have somebody like today, what Raidu did, attack on the other end. But I think anchoring the innings will be very important in this tournament, and Faf played that role to perfection today.
if I'm not mistaken, today they played at Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah.
So from my understanding over the last maybe 5 6 years, Dubai and Abu Dhabi have been not necessarily like 220 kind of pitches. It's not that easy. Like there have been big scores on these pitches, but there is something for everyone. In the beginning of the innings, the bat comes onto the ball. Like I saw the first ball of the match, Rohit Sharma, beautiful, cover drive, sled cut, right, and then Chawla came in and slowed the innings. 170 is a fair target to get. Like it's I think these two grounds are very balanced. I'm not sure if Sharjah is like what it was back in the day, like similar to Bangalore, smaller size pitch,
It is
more
definitely,
hitting.
yeah. There'll be higher scores than Sharjah, definitely. But
So yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting tournament in that sense.
yeah, but one thing I think the timing doesn't suit it suits the Indian viewers, but 6 o'clock time in Dubai gives and Abu Dhabi like in the UAE, it gives an unfair advantage to the bowling side like in terms of due, because today we clearly saw like the ball wasn't gripping in the second innings. If you start the game after the sun sets, it gives an equal chance, I think.
Yeah.
So I feel the start timing it could have been changed just to have a fair battle between bat and ball, but I hope dew doesn't play a crucial part, but today it definitely did.
Fair enough. I didn't realize that point. Do you think they will change it or no? It's
No, no,
fixed for
no,
the tournament.
it won't change, but I just hopefully the dew won't impact as much, but today there was, I wouldn't say that's why Bombay lost, but it did give them it did give Chennai an advantage for sure.
Fair enough.
But you can be
So
moving
moving,
like teams can win batting first as well, but yeah.
I guess it also depends on how much they rely on spin, because if you rely more on spin, the grip becomes an issue, right? And doesn't the not just in the hand but off the pitch, the spin won't be there. There'll be more flippers, straighter ones and stuff, and it'll come onto the bat easier. So we'll have to see maybe 2 3 matches to see how it pans out.
Yeah.
All right. So just give me your thoughts on three things: hit of the match, flop of the match, and someone who surprised you. If I
Uh,
could put my hat in the ring for Sam Curran as someone who surprised me, kind of. I don't know because I haven't seen him as much, but take it away.
Yeah, for me, hit of the match was Ambati Raidu, along with Faf, but Raidu for sure, because there's a lot of criticism about him and like a lot of controversies, everything, and he stepped up to the plate, and I think he played a brilliant knock. The flop of the match has to be Bumrah. He looks off since his injury. Even in New Zealand, uh, I saw his performance go down a bit. I think he needs to get back to that old Bumrah. Hopefully he will. There's a lot of skill, but today he was very disappointing. There's no Malinga there, so he has to head that dead bowling. And Bolt started off brilliantly, and I think Bumrah let them down by not, like, if he bowled well, I think Bombay would have won the game. So I think that's where they lost the game. And surprise has to be Sam Curran, both with the ball and bat. Like Dhoni's turned him into a Wasim Akram. I'm just joking. Like there's still a long way to go. But I think he utilized him. Let's say this way, Dhoni utilized him to his potential. Like like in Punjab, we saw him take a hat trick here and there and thing. But I think today we saw a good all round performance. And these kind of players, even like an Albie Morkel. Before in previous IPLs, Dhoni knows how to use these players, and I think Sam Curran was a surprise package. I didn't expect him to start and play like this for sure.
I guess that's why I asked you about Dhoni's coaching career, because he's got this ability to recognize talent and harness it and kind of even mature it to a certain extent. Obviously, there is a difference between captaincy and coaching, and we can criticize some aspects of Dhoni's captaincy, team selection, and all that sort of stuff. Like that's definitely a debate that you can have. But yeah, I agree.
As a coach, he won't have the power of being on the field and using those players and telling them what to do every single ball and stuff, right? Like
maybe by then there'll be a technical box for cricket coaches.
Yeah.
All right. So that was today's match. First match. I think overall it was a good comeback, a good first match. I think Bombay has played Chennai the last 3 years in the first match, and they've lost, and they've also won 4 championships over the last 12 years. So I think they've lost their opening match every season and gone on to win 4 or 5 championships. I forget. So I don't think this is a worry for Bombay. I think this is just part and parcel. 2 strong teams probably in the last 4. These 2, it's a good shout for both of them. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just going to say we can look forward to tomorrow's match, which is Delhi and Punjab, teams from the north. Give us a bit of a background on both teams, maybe a bit of strength and weakness. What do you expect? What's the result?
I'm very excited for this game. I think these 2 teams have been. There's actually a lot of interchange in these 2 teams. There's going to be players who play for both teams, but they both bought heavily in the auction. Both have some exciting players. 2 young Indians leading both sides, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer. So there'll be a lot depending on them. Rahul especially because he's going to be keeping and opening the batting. And it'll be interesting.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and the first time he's captaining, so it'll be very interesting to see how he handles that. There's some big names. Chris Gayle isn't that, so he'll have to make some big decisions because there's the likes of Chris Gayle, Maxwell, so he has to handle these players. Iyer as well. I think he has a strong Indian core with the likes of Dhawan, Pant himself, even Prithvi Shaw opening the batting. I think that middle to end overs, they'll need to sort out their batting a bit. It'll be interesting to see how that will be. Both teams have really good spinners. There's the likes of Mujib on one side in Punjab and then Lamichhane in Delhi. There's also Ashwin is back in Delhi. He's in Delhi now. He was the captain of Punjab. So I think both sides have good spinners. Some decent fast bowling as well. Rabada will be on display. Mohammad Shami will be on display. So I think all round 2 very solid teams on paper. But now tomorrow it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out on the field.
Yeah, and especially if someone like Maxwell can continue his form. He just scored 100 in England to finish off that series. He's changed his batting stance quite significantly. Very open stance. He's hitting the ball later than he used to, because I think he used to rush in. So you're right. Delhi, I think for the last 3-4 seasons on paper have been an outstanding team. At one point, I think they housed the 3 biggest upcoming names in Indian cricket with Iyer, Nair, and I think Prithvi Shaw is now there recently. So, but I don't think they haven't performed to their potential. There's always just one missing piece, it feels. Even Punjab, I think, over the years. So these guys have something to prove. So it'll be very interesting.
Nair is in Punjab, but I know why you got that wrong because he did play for Delhi. That's what I'm saying. I think he played for Delhi, but he's in Punjab right now.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That like previously, Delhi always had like the strong young Indian core and punt, but they didn't achieve those expectations, right? So,
and you're talking about Maxwell. The last time he was wearing Punjab jersey in Dubai, he took it to another level. His batting was immense. He was averaging close to 100. Scored like 300, 400 runs just like in 4 or 5 games. Like he was sensational. So he'll be back in his comfort zone. So I'm very excited to see him play. He's already in form, but him in Dubai wearing that Punjab jersey, that's where he loves it. Even though it's just 4 or 5 games, a small, it's like a small indication. But I think it'll be really exciting to see how he goes for sure.
Have all the, as a closing question, have all the players arrived in the UAE now? Or are we still waiting on some people? Will they join the team later? Like that sort of stuff, or is everyone ready to go
I think
in
apart
the
from
UAE?
Ben Stokes, everyone else is there. Maxwell uh, was in training today for Punjab, so he will be playing. The quarantine rules is a bit different in Dubai, so I think he tested negative, so he's good to go for tomorrow's game. He's available for selection. So I think so I think they're ready to go.
Awesome. So that was our episode today, guys. I hope you liked it. Just remember to like, share, and subscribe to this episode whenever you see it. Down the track, search us on YouTube, Twitter. We're on Instagram. We just launched our Instagram page. And thanks for the support. And Mustafa, thanks for having me co-hosting today. Appreciate it.
It was always a pleasure. Just to end off the show, your prediction for tomorrow, who's going to win?
Rahul Dravid still the coach of Delhi?
No, it's Ricky Ponting.
It's Ricky Ponting. I'm gonna go with Delhi just because I've always liked the idea of a young Indian team doing well, Indian squad doing well.
You're going with Delhi.
Delhi. How about you? What's your pick?
Delhi on paper, I think they're going to look like the team to win, but because you said Delhi, I'm going with Punjab. Maxwell beginnings incoming, and Mujib. I think Mujib will be a very important player to watch out for. I don't know how he's going to. He's played in Dubai quite a bit in other leagues as well, so it'll be very interesting to see how he goes. I think he'll be a key player. They might hold him back. He bowls in the power plays, but they might hold him back because he bowls well to the middle order as well. The likes of Rishabh Pant, Hetmaya has a good record against them. So watch out for Mujib. But anything can happen. I'm very excited for tomorrow's game, and I'll catch you soon.
Take care, guys.
Take care.